Let me ask you something. What does large piles of those fresh dollar bills remind you of? I guess some of you might say hard work or maybe investments in cryptocurrency, as it is showing amazing results in these couple of years. Dogecoin is now larger than General Motors, larger than SpaceX, and to everyone's surprise, it is now the fourth largest cryptocurrency by the market cap. So no wonder those would be the thoughts of probably the majority of us. But if there was no meme coin to gamble with, or the market that is, I would say, now partly run by retail traders that base their investments on the influence of memes that are popular at that moment of time, then most likely we would be looking into some other alternatives. While some of us would still turn our heads towards investments into the stock market or real estate, others would probably have some other ideas, and I'd say most likely riskier ones. There are many things that media tend to paint in brighter colors than they should be painting. However, I absolutely hope that is a common sense to you, but it might not be to someone else. And if you have common sense, it would be a no-brainer for you to simply press on those subscribe and like buttons below this video. It would help this channel a ton, and you would not miss a video if you somehow smash that bell icon as well, just to make sure you get the latest content every single week. Even though we upload content every week, it is far less from how much content is being released through all media platforms. And not all of it is worth your while, but someone will get drawn into it and might even think that some lies that we get told are true and worth our attention. And so today I would like to present you a sport that is probably not worth your time and effort. That is poker. Now, I briefly mentioned poker in one of the previous videos, saying that you should avoid it if you want to make money off it, but I have decided to make a separate video about it. I think there are just so many ways to get pulled into that loop of thinking that getting rich overnight exists, and poker is one of those sports that has successfully created that illusion to thousands, if not millions of people. I bet at some point in your life you have seen some guy sitting at the poker table posing in front of his mountain of cash after he won the tournament. Yes, I guess it does make a cool profile picture, but would you be surprised that that mountain of money that you see those guys playing for is not the money that the winner is finally taking home? Sorry to crush your poker millionaire vibes that you had, but as I said, most likely you will get an addiction rather than become a millionaire playing it. Now, I do understand that there are some players that are profitable and manage to get some money out of it. After all, there are just a handful of players that actually manage to call themselves millionaires from playing poker. Now, I want to clear this up. I'm not being biased when speaking about this because I enjoy playing poker myself. I only play with the people I trust and enjoy competing against, thus never have I played for money. Playing poker is just more of a learning experience and a mixture of competitions and trying to beat a man using mind games, skill, and luck. I guess the majority have heard of Dan Bilzerian and his interesting life that he is living.
Dan Bilzerian. To his 27 million followers, he's known as the king of Instagram. He started his account in the early days of the platform, portraying a raunchier and more over-the-top lifestyle than Hugh Hefner, and that made him very popular.
Though he is rich, has loads of women around him all the time, does amazing parties, not everything that he says is as glamorous as it seems. Dan is claiming that the life that he is living is mostly because he is an amazing poker player, and that is where his wealth comes from. But if you didn't know, his money comes from his daddy. And if you don't believe me, well, just Google how much his daddy left him. This type of life that has been portrayed misleads a lot of people that decide to pursue professional poker as a full-time career, not knowing the ins and outs of it. Chasing six figures in poker is a common practice that is proven to bring you more failure than success. To get to play poker, you have to put up a buy-in, and it could range dramatically from a few $100s to $1 million. Buy-in is basically you pay to sit on a table to play a game, and the higher it is, the bigger the grand prize. So if you want to make millions, you would have to put up a hefty amount from your behalf. Having that in mind, you also have to think about your day job, if you have one, or a business if you are running one. Most likely you will need to play poker full time if you want to go pro and become a millionaire, meaning that those buy-ins will be an everyday thing for you, and you will need to have enough money for everything. It's an expensive practice to say the least. That is why poker staking is such a large part of professional poker as well. Poker staking is basically someone putting up money up front for a poker player to get into the poker tournament. This does not come without any consequences as well. In return, they get part of your upside, which is cool for them because if you manage to win, they can get a crazy return on their investment in you. This lets stake poker players have a bigger bankroll to play, which lets them play in more tournaments, which can eventually lead to them gaining more money over the long run. Basically, the more you play, the better you get, the more exposure you get, the more backers you will have, which then lets you take that pressure off your shoulders for putting your own money to get into the tournament. Sounds cool when I put it like this, but let's think about something else. If you start losing, you lose your backers. What about the start of your journey? Maybe you ran out of money and couldn't get any backers due to, I don't know, maybe not being as good or not playing enough games or having too little exposure. Basically, there are so many people competing and the expenses to get to the top are pretty big, which usually leaves many with broken dreams of that 6 or even 7-figure paycheck. Now, if you manage to get good, you might even get a long-term backer that will fund all the future tournaments that you enter, and you will have to split the return 50-50. But due to backer taking all the financial risk, not only he gets half of your money, but if you manage to bust through all of that money at the tournament, at the next tournament you have to pay back the debt, which is the money the backer gives you to enter the previous tournament, plus the 50% of your winnings. Poker is a great game to play, and as I said, I love playing it, but poker players are not always the actual winners when it comes to the game, and I don't see it as a bad thing. But becoming a 6-7 figure earner in poker is more difficult than you might think. If players are exceptionally good, then they will win, but if they don't perform, they get in debt. I would say if you enjoy poker and want to make money off of it, then better become a backer. Yes, you carry a risk of losing money that you invested, but if you manage to find players that are good, you can profit a lot of money, especially if working with a few players at once. Staking is the main artery of the sport, and if you really don't want to do a logical thing and put your money into real estate or stocks, and poker is the only thing that you want to do, then consider staking. Guys, if you stayed through this whole video, I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. Feel free to let me know if you had any experience of playing poker professionally or semi-professionally, or maybe you still do it to this day. What do you think of staking in poker? Drop a comment with your thoughts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I will see you in the next one. Peace.